Today we will do this lecture, and this could probably take another hour. I'll try to finish in about 40 to 45 minutes, and then we will leave some time for you to ask questions. It's 9:52 on my watch, and so maybe we will do the lecture until about 10:42, and then we will leave some time for your questions. Okay, just a quick review. Yesterday we talked about motivational leadership. We define natin yung motivational leadership. By the way, I was told by my wife I should speak a bit more Tagalog or even Bisaya. Hi Queenie Wong, GM of RM Group, mom of 5 very brilliant kids. Hi Queenie. Dean Bobet Torion is joining us as well. Okay. So yesterday we talked about motivational leadership. Just a quick review of yesterday's lecture. We defined motivational leadership as leading in a manner that makes people and organizations exceed their limits. Meaning it's all about managing what we feel are things and circumstances, thoughts that are holding us down. What's challenging is getting people to move out of their comfort zones and getting organizations to change. And I also mentioned 5 things yesterday about the mindsets necessary for a leader to be motivational. The first mindset is people actually want to do well. You need to always think that people are there with good intentions and they desire to do well. The second one is change is not just good, but change is necessary. Number 3, motivation could take time. Don't rush things, start early, especially for larger organizations. Number 4, you are not the star. If you are to allow people to really flourish and become better than what they think they could be, you should be willing to give them the stage and give them the speaking time. Number 5, big wins and small wins are equally important. Okay, let's say hi to others first. I'm here because I will copy what you're doing for the bar review lecture. Sure, Dean. I'm old school pa. Di pa ko kahibaloan ni. Hi, Dean. Dean Bobet is the dean or was the dean of a school in Digos Law School, and now is the dean of a law school in Davao City. Marisa also joined us. So today, what will I talk about? So I'll lay down the 4 what I believe are elements to motivational leadership. These 4, if you develop, can make you a motivational leader. The first one are your mindsets, and that's what we talked about yesterday. Motivational leadership is all about your mindset. If you don't have the right mindset, the rest won't follow. The second one, in order for you to become a motivational leader, when I say you, that includes us, okay? It's not that I do the lecture here that I'm exempt from having to abide and follow by these rules. Pangalawa, aside from the mindset, many people think, akala na marami na yung motivation is something that will come from the person. Yes, that is true. For a large extent, that is true. But the second element, which I will be talking about today, is very, very important, and without which I don't think your skill, your ability will really create the impact that you desire. So, what's the second element that I will be talking about today when we're talking about motivational leadership? Motivational leadership is all about number 1 is mindset. Number 2, creating a motivating. Any guess? Any guess? Creating a motivating. Did you get that? Did you get that? Motivational leadership, aside from having the right mindset, is all about creating for all our people and all the team members, a You read my lips? Did you read that? Okay. It's all about creating a motivating environment. It's all about the environment. You know what? Maya Angelou. Oh, May Rondell guessed it right. Maya Angelou, one of the greatest modern poets of America, said this. She said, people will forget what you say, people will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Why is it important for us to create an environment? Because human behavior, is really driven by your thought processes and your emotions. You may be thinking right, but if you're not feeling right, you will still not behave according to what is best. So, creating a motivating environment does not just create the fertile ground for people to learn, it also creates the emotional setup, the emotional backdrop under which people could work together, could freely synergize. So the environment that you go, okay, let me ask you this. Have you been to a house, a rich man's house, with a beautiful big gate, and you enter the house, beautiful furniture, and you can just feel that people there are not happy? Have you experienced that? Have you experienced going to a home? They're very wealthy, but you know they're fighting, they're in conflict, and they're not happy. So the environment there is negative. I'm sure you've also been to an organization or an office where people are not speaking openly. There's a lot of backbiting, unhealthy competition. The environment that creates in an office will not lead to individual and team motivation. And that's why it's essential that leaders think of leadership not just as a skill, as ability, or as an action or a verb, but leadership as an atmosphere, leadership as an environment. So leaders don't just speak, leaders don't just give orders, but leaders really create environment. And that's the same for our home. You want your kids to learn, they need to grow up in a positive, healthy environment of learning. You want to lead a great team, you need to create that environment. Outside of a positive, motivating environment, you will not thrive. You will not thrive. Remember, I posted about the malunggay planted. I've been trying to plant vegetables in our garden. I tried to plant the malunggay in the wrong spot. It's in the same garden, but it's in the wrong spot. It did not have enough light. It did not have enough sunshine in that spot. It was right beside a tree that was growing fast and I suspect was just eating a lot of the nutrients from the soil. The environment under which I planted or I placed that malunggay was just not right. So when I moved it to a different spot, that was the only time the malunggay began to grow. And that's the same with our team members, and that's the same with our kids. Create that environment, my friends. Okay, so let me share with you 5 elements today of a good organizational environment. These are the 5 elements that you'd want to build if you want to build an environment that's positive and motivating and excellent. Are you ready? Say, write okay if you're ready. Write okay if you're ready. Please write okay if you're ready. Write okay. Today we're talking about the 5 elements of a positive environment or building a good environment in the office and in the team. Alam nyo, merong mga leaders na hindi naman kagalingan magsalita. Di kayo may musturya. Di kayo bright. Meaning not so smart. Pero a leader that sets up a wonderful environment where people are excited to go to and work is a much better leader than someone who's so smart, so eloquent, but who's not careful to take care of the environment. Okay, so you should not just build it, you should take care of it. You make sure that people behave according to that environment. Okay, let's begin. So these are the 5 elements of a good environment in your offices or at home. Number one, you may write this down, by the way. There has to be clarity of purpose. A good corporate environment, a good home environment is one where people know why they're there. And people know why they're doing what they're doing within that setup. So the first one is clarity of purpose. Ang hirap nung papasok ka sa isang opisina and you don't know where is this organization going? Parang ang labo nito. Parang gubuta ni oya, pasan ta paingon? When people don't have purpose, it's like you're walking towards a certain location, you have an address. And unfortunately, you go to that place and there are no street signs. There are no street numbers and there are no street names. So you're lost. You don't have a direction. You don't have basis for your journey. And that's going to be very hard. That could make you anxious. That could stress you out. So the first thing is you need to create that purpose. Now for organizations, and we work with many organizations in the Philippines, I know that many organizations have the vision, mission, and values. The mission, vision, and values of organizations are printed in billboards or on the wall or plastered on the wall of the organization. Usually it's also contained in the employee's manual. Unfortunately, many organizations fail to communicate the vision, mission, and goals of the organization in a manner that could be appreciated and felt by members of the organization. That's why great organizations have corporate philosophies or corporate vision, mission, and values that are so clear, are so well communicated that everyone in the organization behave according to that clear purpose. If you don't have that clarity of purpose within the organization, malabo yun. At hindi malalaman ng mga tao, ba't ba ako nandito? I'll give you an example. Disney. If you think about Disney, you think about theme parks, you think about Disney movies. But really, the corporate purpose or vision of Disney is to create happiness. So and they communicate creating happiness to everyone. They call their theme parks the happiest places on earth. So it's all anchored on the word happiness. That's very clear. It's very easy to understand. Okay, let's go to Google. Google is all about the use and access to technology. It's very, very clear. If the purpose is clear and well stated, then it's easy for people to hold on to those purpose statements. Toyota, the future of mobility, enriching lives around the world with the safest and most responsible ways of moving people. Very, very clear. Let's just go back quickly to the Disney. Kaya when you go to Disney, my friends, wala ka makikitang taga Disneyland na masungit. Kahit na yung mga nagwawalis, namimigay ng stickers sa mga bata. Kahit na yung guard namimigay ng stickers sa mga bata. So ibig sabihin, malinaw ang purpose nila, malinaw ang philosophy nila, malinaw ang vision nila. In fact, sa Disneyland, nasa trend ka pa lang, Disneyland na. Meaning if you go to Hong Kong Disneyland, coming from mainland Hong Kong, you're going towards towards the theme park of Disney, on the train, it already feels like Disney. So there's that clarity of purpose. Okay, so corporate vision, mission, and value. So if if that's not clear to your team members, if that's not something that they appreciate, take the effort to clarify that, because that will now create unity of purpose within your organization. Absent a unity of purpose, not just head knowledge, but really appreciating that. That's why when we do team building events, I'm sorry, we make sure that a significant part of the team building is geared towards making them love the corporate organization's purpose and philosophy. It's they need to feel an affection for their company. They need to love the company. Kung hindi, hindi yun mangyayari. Ganun din po sa bahay. The bahay is a human organization. It is the basic human organization. In order for kids to be happy there, they need to know, why are we there? So if you're a dad or you're a mom at hindi malinaw kung ano ba talaga yung purpose ng bahay at ng pamamahay, hindi siya magiging motivating. So, ano ang purpose ng aking pamamahay? Ako personal. I stress on three things. Number one is to build faith. Number two is to develop knowledge and skill. And number three, to help them make good decisions. Yung tatlong bagay lang po. Malinaw po yun, paulit-ulit dito sa aming bahay. Na itong pamamahay na ito, or our home, the Castrodes home here in Marikina, the purpose of the kids here and us as well is to, number one, build faith. Develop our faith in the Lord. We're Christians. We believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. It's our Lord and Savior. And we believe that it is through following His Word that we can live great, healthy lives. We build that. Number two, we believe in developing knowledge and skill. And that's why we celebrate when people learn new things. And we're a family of learners. We love exploring new things. And that includes learning how to do your work well. That includes learning how to do school better. And number three, it's really about making good decisions, because life is all about the key decisions. So when we pray for the kids and we pray for one another, we pray that we make good decisions. We sense the Lord's leading as we make decisions. We subject our mind and our conscience to the guidelines of God, but it's really about making good decisions. So yung purpose, malinaw po yun. Okay? So yun po yung una. Now, let's go practical. Malinaw yung organizational purpose. Pag on the day-to-day, in order for the day-to-day to be motivating, you also need to be very clear what the purpose for a particular job is. What's the purpose for a particular project? What's the purpose for a particular role? So when you're talking to your people, when you're explaining to them a particular project or a particular role, be very deliberate in explaining to them the reason why we do this is this, okay? So you're not just explaining why you do things. There's a second level to purpose. Yung kasi feeling ko dalawa yung magpapalinaw ng purpose. Vision and consequence of action. Okay? Vision and consequence of action. Let me explain. Number one, malinaw kung saan tayo papunta. Malinaw kung saan tayo papunta. Malinaw kung anong gusto nating i-achieve. Okay? Pangalawa, on a management level, how do you explain your purpose? I'll simplify it, and I believe if you follow this, you will avoid a lot of issues in your day-to-day issues. People need to understand, if they do things right, this is what's going to happen. If you don't do things right, this is what's going to happen. So your purpose is clear. My purpose of doing this is to achieve that high vision or goal, but my purpose is also to achieve this short-range goal, this small win. That's my purpose, that small win. Remember yesterday, your big dreams and your small wins? So that's the same here. You're also thinking of communicating to them, if you don't do well, this is what's going to happen. That should also be very clear. Not only should it be clear to everyone why they should do things because they will achieve this. But it should also be very clear to everyone, if they don't do this, ganito ang mangyayari. Why is it important for us to be deliberate in explaining to them the negative consequence of their actions? Why? You know why? Kasi yung Pilipino, napakahina ng sense of urgency. Tama? Pinaliwanag natin kahapon na ang Pinoy, okay lang yan. Hindi problema yan. Maliit na bagay yan. Yun yung danger. Kung hindi malinaw yung purpose why you need to achieve something, tsaka yung purpose nung ginagawa mo to avoid a negative turn, to avoid a negative thing from happening, that's also part of purpose. I should do this right so that I could avoid this negative incident. Remember, people will always try to underestimate the impact of their kapalpakan. People will always try to, maliit na bagay yan. Hindi ganong kalaki ang problema yan. So kung hindi mo lilinawin na kung magagawa mo ito, ganito mangyayari, very good. Kung hindi mo ito magagawa, ganito yung mangyayari. Okay. Let me deepen that a bit. You know, have you heard this line, experience is the best teacher? You've heard that, right? What does that really mean? What does experience teach us? If you think about it, ano pa talaga tinuturo ng experience? If you're saying experience is the best teacher, you know what experience teaches you? Just one thing. It teaches you knowledge of consequence. That's what experience teaches us. If you do this well, this is what's going to happen. If you don't do this well, this is what's going to happen. You know why? I've experienced it. It's the benefit of knowing cause and effect or consequence of excellence and mediocrity. That's what experience teaches us. So that's why when we're talking about clarity of purpose, you need to be clear what the overall purpose is, and also very clear what the purpose of your day-to-day actions, day-to-day goals, and day-to-day objectives. So carefully explain that to your team members and to your children. Okay. When I explain that to my team members, that's easy. Okay, let me tell you how I explain to my kids. Okay, a bit on parenting. Your kid would, for example, ask you to buy a cell phone. Okay? And so I say, I won't buy you a nice iPhone. They think I can afford. Maybe I can. So I need to explain to them the purpose of that policy. My policy is I won't buy you nice, luxurious things. That's the policy in this house. I will buy you nice things, but not the nicest things. You will get a phone, but you won't get the best phone. You will get a laptop if you need it, but not the best Mac Air. So that's the policy. In order for them to be motivated to abide by that policy, I need to explain the purpose of that policy in order for them to feel good about it, right? So how do I explain the problem with the cell phone? So this is what I say. Nak, I will not buy you the best iPhone because daddy's goal is for you to have a phone that you could use. Not bad phone, a nice phone, but not the best phone. You know why I don't want you to buy the best phone? Because my purpose is, I don't want you to get used to having nice things now that you did not work hard for. Because I don't want to deprive you of the joy of buying it yourself. You should be happy to buy a nice phone as soon as you earn the money for it. And I should not deprive you the joy of experiencing that. So if you grew up and your parents bought you the nicest things growing up, the best phone, the best clothes, the best shoes, the best everything, and then you start your job, you're working in a job, and your job doesn't pay you very high because you're a fresh graduate, you could not afford the best things anymore. So you will be sad. You can buy, but not the very best things. You will be sad. And that's depressing. That's really sad. Kasi nga nasanay ka dun sa sobrang ganda. So that's how I explain. Okay? Purpose is very, very important. That's why I took a lot of time explaining purpose. Okay? Purpose, the grander vision, but also the tactical part of purpose, explaining to them the consequence of actions. Okay? Any questions so far? Let me ask for a glass of water first. Migo, can I have a glass of water, please? Do you have questions so far before we proceed to point number 2? Do you have questions so far before we proceed to point number 2? While I'm waiting for my water. Thanks, Ming.
Welcome. Are you done?
Not yet.
Oh,
You want to say hi to my friends? This is Migo.
hello.
Oh.
Hello.
Go.
Bye. I'm in the live.
Okay. The next point in the next thing in building a positive environment in the office or at home is to build a sense of community. A sense of community. Humans need other humans to thrive. Humans need other humans in order to thrive. I'll take note of that question, DG Maya. Attorney Maya is asking, how do we know if the team already knows the vision and purpose of the organization? I'll answer that after this lecture. Okay. The second point, after clarity of purpose, in order to build a good motivating environment, number 2 is to have a good sense of community. Human beings need other human beings. They need to be able to trust them. They need to be able to seek help from them. They need to be able to confide with them. They need to be able to just be with them without feeling threatened. A sense of community can be built if people are feeling safe. Okay, number 1, a community will be a community when people feel safe, meaning walang siraan, walang backbiting, there's also openness, walang mga clicks, wala masyadong exclusive for this group or that group, magkakaroon ka ng sense of community. So a good sense of community is something that the leader, a motivational leader, needs to create. Why is it important to be deliberate in building a sense of community these days? Number 1, kasi nga, unlike before, sanay tayo sa bahay na you're watching television together. So, ang default ng tao is to be with a community. Today, ang default ay you are used to being alone or you can be alone. Many kids prefer to be alone. So, yung default ngayon is virtual community. Now, if the virtual community on the phone is more powerful, more important than the real community in the office or the physical community in the office, pag merong nagyaya dito sa phone, but could possibly sacrifice the community or the community objectives at work, anong mangyayari? Magli-leave, sasama dun sa mga barkada sa phone, o magsusorry dun sa barkada sa phone para tugon or para ma-deliver niya yung kanyang commitment sa community niya dun sa opisina. That's a challenge, okay? Let's go to the beach. Let's finish this project. Let's work on a Saturday. A leader who can build a strong community in the office will make it at least hard for that employee to just go absence without leave. To just go, sorry, I'm sick. Bakit? Kasi hindi mo iiwanan yung mga taong you care for. So a sense of community is a place where there's safety, where there's concern and caring for one another, and where there's synergy. Meaning my strengths will make your weaknesses better, alleviate your weaknesses, and yours will be mine. And my strengths added to your strengths will create exponential results. So a good sense of community is something that a leader should create. Kasi nga, medyo kanya-kanya na tayo ngayon at meron kang competition between your virtual community and your real community or your physical community in the workplace. There's another threat that makes this sense of community essential. And that's, okay, and we're part of this effort. And in fact, I talked about it yesterday. Yung lecture na lean operations, lean organizations, lean management. Ang ibig sabihin ng lean is to have the least amount of people to achieve optimal output. Kung sinong hindi kailangan, hindi na dapat nandun. What's the danger there? Kaya ba ng isa, dalawang tao gampanan ang trabaho ng isang HR recruiting department? Yes. Kaya bang gampanan ng isang tao yung audit ng maraming bangko? Yes. Kaya. Pero masaya ba yun? The Bible says 2 heads are better than 1. 3 strands are not easily broken. The problem there is, when you're down, you will not have people to be with who could encourage you. When you're feeling demotivated, there's no one there you can look up to as a role model. Kaya, if you're running an organization, here's my suggestion. Yes, go lean. Yes, go lean. Because that's essential for profitability, that's essential for efficiency and sustainability. But in your desire to make your organization lean, make sure you're not sacrificing a good sense of community among people. So you can achieve this by arranging the office in a way that there's greater access to one another, meaning they could see people. Kasi individual contributor ka na nga, nandun ka pa sa sulok, wala kang kasama doon, magla-lunch kang mag-isa, that's why attrition could be high because people can leave easily because there's no one to leave behind. Kung wala ka namang iiwanan, andaling mag-resign. Pero kung meron kang mga taong pinapahalagahan, na kayo mga mingawon po ko ninyo, mamimiss ko kayo, masaya tayo dito, then it's not so easy to just bolt, to just leave. Just leave. So part of the studies in attrition rates actually studies the dynamics of the relationships in organizations. Okay? So a good sense of community is important because in this highly social media driven communication age, that's a mouthful, we need to make sure that our physical communities are just as strong. And number 2, because organizations are getting more lean, the possibility that people will be contributing as individuals or 1 or 2 people doing a lot of things is there. And that's why leaders and organizations need to make sure that at least in the setup of the office or in the meetings, people can be with people because people need people in order to thrive. Okay? That's number 2. Number 3, in order to build a strong environment that's motivating, there has to be fun. Purpose, sense of community, Fun, that sense of community, pwede siyang trabaho lang, pero a sense of community na puro trabaho lang, hindi naman yun okay. Kailangan daw fun. Especially in the Philippines, a good barometer that people are having fun is when they're laughing on the job. Meaning, hindi ito kailangan na fun na pumupuntang beach, hindi ito fun na nagiinuman after work. Well, that may be part of it. That could be part of it when they do their social life together. But that's not the barometer. The barometer is, are they having fun while doing their daily chores? Are they having fun while achieving their objectives together? Kasi kung hindi sila nag-i-enjoy, then hindi yun masaya. Tama. Kung hindi kayo nag-enjoy, hindi naman talaga yun masaya. So leaders should make sure that he's creating an environment that is fun. So how can leaders do this? Okay. Other companies, HP and many Japanese companies, they say, we don't go for MBAs in this organization. We would rather have MBWA. So meaning it's not the MBA leadership approach, but the MBWA approach. You know what the MBWH approach is? MBWA. Sabi nila, leaders who are motivating are leaders who are not just MBA. You can have MBA, but you need to be MBWA. Ready to write this down? What is MBWA? Fun leaders employ MBWA. MBWA is management by, you got that? MBWA means type that down if you guessed, if you read my lips. Can somebody type it down? What does MBWA mean? Walang nagta-type. Walang nakahula. MBWA means management by walking around. You walk around. You leave the confines of your corner office. You leave the confines of your cubicle and go out there to people while they're working. Talk to them. Give them a tap. Cheer for them. Look at what they do. Notice the little things they have in their desks. Just be friends with them. Remind them of the purpose. Management by walking around. Okay? So far, we've talked about three things: clarity of purpose, organization level, and also operational level on the day to day. Number two, a good sense of community in the office, at home, because people can be so connected but really not engaging with one another in a real sense. Number three, they need to have fun. Leaders should deliberately make sure that work is fun. It's not just stressful, it's also fun. Okay? Okay. Number four, very important. A motivating environment is an environment where accomplishments are clearly explained, shared, and celebrated. Okay? Accomplishments are achieved, shared, and celebrated. You achieve your accomplishments, or you gain accomplishments rather. You share this accomplishment with people, and you celebrate your accomplishments with people. Okay? Gone are the days where a boss would just say, "Good job, guys, we met our quota," and that's enough. People are happy to hear it from the boss that they met their quota. Iba na daw yung mga empleyado ngayon. I'll explain why. I'll explain why it's important for you to explain better what the accomplishment is. Okay? Bakit? Kasi, as late as the late 80s. Yung mga eskwelahan were traditional schools. Sa traditional school, ganito lang yung accomplishment. Either top 10 ka o hindi. Ganun lang kasimple. Pag nag-top 10 ka, then you're an accomplished student. If you're not top 10, then you work hard. Parang ganito lang daw yan eh. Top 10 lang yan. Lagpas ng 10, bobo na lahat. Pero ibig sabihin, ganun kasimple dati. No. Today, when you go to a school, everyone gets a medal. Everyone gets an award. They have all sorts of names. My kids go to this school and they inspire and motivate kids with multiple intelligences, with specific awards given for those multiple intelligences, which is good, which is right. And that's why when you go to a workplace now and to a home, you need to explain accomplishments in not just figures or KPIs, but really explain to people what they accomplished to help produce that. Why? In many schools today, teachers even write essays about the specific child. Because of the Montessori approach to learning, people are used to an individualized approach to learning. And if you want to motivate the younger generation, you need to also transition out of the generic congratulations everyone to the more specific congratulations pare you did this. Congratulations, ang galing nung ginawa mo nung ganito ganyan. So accomplishment is not just group accomplishment but also individual accomplishment. Celebrate again the big win of the group but also celebrate the improvements in your people. That's as much part of accomplishment as achieving your quota or your KPI. Okay? So accomplishment, be more specific, be more individualized in explaining the accomplishment of the team as individualized as you possibly could. And make sure that you never parang make someone in the organization feel that he contributed less. Because the truth is, an organization is composed of many individuals playing many roles. And so each role is necessary for the other roles to be performed. Good motivational leaders make sure that everyone in the team feel that everyone would know that their presence there and the job that they do every day was essential to achieve what the organization has achieved. So ganun din po sa ating sa parenting. Explain to the child not just the accomplishment, the big accomplishment of honor, but the accomplishment in the day-to-day work of studying, of building good habits, of making good decisions. So ibaba natin yung explanation on accomplishment. Okay? Any questions so far? I'm down to my last point dito sa building a good environment. Before we proceed, let's review a bit for those who just tuned in. Are you learning something, guys? I hope you're picking up something. When we do this a lot for corporations, managerial level, supervisory level. So, yung mga lectures namin are not just a run-of-the-mill, but we also tailor-fit this to your organization. So, that's what we do at Team Arite, and that's why our job is very exciting. Okay, yung outline natin, kahapon we talked about the mindset, and then we talked about, today we're talking about the environment. Tomorrow, we will be talking about motivational approaches. Kasi apat po yan. Mindset, environment, approaches, how do you approach your people, yung actual na strategies on how to motivate, and finally, skill. Okay? Kasi alam mo na, attorney, alam ko na, mindset, ganito. Environment, ganito, pinag-usapan na natin. Ganito yung approach. I'll end it on Thursday by talking about, but paano? Paano? What are the skills necessary for me to become a an inspiring leader, a motivational leader. So that's for Thursday. So tomorrow we'll talk about what are your key approaches in order to motivate people. And then on Thursday we'll talk about skills. Okay? So today we've talked about so far clarity of purpose, the bigger purpose, and the strategic purpose, or rather the tactical day-to-day explanation of purpose, a sense of community, fun at work, management by walking around, really give people a tap because they like that. Accomplishment, not just a big accomplishment of the team, but really individual accomplishment because that's what those learners need now and that's what they expect because that's how they were raised in schools and in their homes. Finally, finally, a good environment is this is the fifth when there's stability. When there's stability. When we talk about stability of an organization, a lot of it would really depend on you, the leader. The leader creates that sense of stability. Hindi pwede yung leader na tinatansya kung kailan siya pwedeng kausapin, tinatansya kung kailan siya pwede siyang pakiusapan. People need your stability as leader if you are to motivate the environment. Alam nila na kung may problema, ganito yung mangyayari. Kung may mga meetings, ganito yung mangyayari. Kung merong, kasi it is natural for humans, it is innate in all humans to look for stability. You know why? The world is stable. To a large extent, it is stable. There are unpredictable things, but we live in a stable earth. The sun sets at night and then rises in the morning. Water, air, all of those, the galaxies and the stars. God created the earth and the universe with such level of stability that we could rest. It is when you could rest that you could be happy. It is when you could rest that you could depend, that you could trust. It is when there is stability that you can dream of new things, that you can be creative. Instability makes you defensive and fearful. Okay? Three things that I believe should be there. Number one, stability in your leadership, stability in the relationships. Stability in the relationships. Meaning, kung merong away, alam nila na mapapag-usapan. Hindi tayo magbabackbite. And number three, yung leadership, relationship. Number three, stability in the strategies and the policies. The strategies and the policies. Ibig sabihin, yung leadership mo stable, yung relationships dito stable, stable din po yung ating policies. Hindi yung in-implement ngayon, sa susunod, hindi na naman, pinalusot ito, hindi na naman pinalusot. Ibig sabihin, ang labo nun. When there's instability in the implementation of policies, hindi yun okay. Yung next is yung stability ng strategy ng organisasyon. You agree on certain strategies, pero hindi pwedeng pabago-bago all the time because people need time to learn certain strategies or to adjust their skill, their knowledge, their approaches according to what's agreed as a strategy. Now, kung lagi na lang pabago-bago or hindi mo binibigyan ng time ang tao na to stabilize into certain strategies and certain roles, napakahirap ma-motivate ng ganun. Kasi lagi ka na lang defensive. So yun yung napakahalaga. The leadership stability, your leadership stability. Pangalawa, yung stability ng relationship ng mga tao doon. Pangatlo, stability ng polisiya and its implementation and stability ng business strategy. Hindi yung lagi na lang pabago-bago. Okay? So yun po yung limang mga bagay that I feel or I believe and we know are essential to building a motivating environment. Again, it's not just about leadership, it's an environment, okay? Purpose, number one. Let's recap before I open it up for questions. Number one, purpose. Yung vision, mission, values, malinaw yun. The larger strategic purpose. But it's also important for you to be clear when your tactical purposes, yung purpose, bakit natin ginagawa yung pang-araw-araw. At Huwag kalimutan i-explain yung consequence. Pag ginawa natin to, ganito mangyayari. Pag hindi natin to ginawa, ganito mangyayari. Pangalawa is a sense of community. Three heads will not be easily broken. Yes, go lean, but make sure that you still retain a sense of community. Okay? Care for one another. Trust one another. Number three, have fun. Management by walking around. Make sure that you're there noticing. Hindi yung joking ha, hindi yung asaran ha, hindi yung pranking ha. Yung really having fun at work. Having fun at work. Number four, accomplishment. Not just the larger accomplishments of the team or the organization, but individual accomplishments or team or group accomplishments. The more detailed, the more specific, the better. Finally, stability. Stability of leadership, stability of relationships, stability of policies and its implementation, and stability of business strategies. Yun po yung limang bagay that would help build a motivating environment within your office and family as well. Okay? Did you learn something today? Did you enjoy that? Let's open it up for a few questions. Let's open it up for a few questions. Tingnan natin yung mga katanungan. Do you have questions, my friends? I'll read a few questions. Okay. I will allow you to share this with your teammates, with your offices. Pero wag naman ninyong negosyohin ito. Kasi ito yung negosyo namin, di ba? So, we would be happy if you could help share what we do to other companies so that the business of Team Arite would grow. But I would be very happy if you could share this with your office mates and family members. Okay, let's open it up for a few questions. Open it up for a few questions. Let me just go to... Okay. First question. Wait, where should I go for the questions? Question, what is the best to do if you... Teka sandali, where are you typing these questions? Are you typing it in my personal account or in the public page? I'm just looking for... Teka, I have my phone open. Okay, sorry for this. Let me just go to where those questions are. Okay. Where are those questions? Okay. Okay, let's begin with the question of Attorney Jeremiah Bellica. Attorney Maya is the head of ARTA. How do you know if your people have imbibed the vision, mission, and purpose of the organization? Okay. In some organizations, Attorney Maya, they have what they call the circle time at the beginning of the day. The circle time would be organized in the operational level, meaning in the team level, hindi siya office level. So for example, accounting, operations, sales, etc., etc. So bago magsimula yung araw, meron silang circle time where they share what they need to do for the day. When you sit through a circle time and you know and you hear how people understand their work, then you would know if they can connect it with the strategic objectives of the organization. Maririnig mo yon. Hindi lang yung task but really objective-driven or purpose-driven teams. So listen in and you will know and you would hear it from them. Number two, when there is clarity of purpose, there's greater level of excitement in the organization. Mararamdaman mo yon, mararamdaman mo yon. And number three, ask questions. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Pero it's important for you to be creative in communicating this, okay? Now, for many organizations, they hire us. Hindi ko binibenta, but that's what they do. Kasi yung pag-explain ng purpose, yung vision, yung mission, posibleng sasabihin ng ibang kumpanya, sinasabi mo yan kasi ikaw lang naman yung mayaman. Gusto mong gawin namin yan dahil ikaw lang naman ang nagpapayaman dito kasi ikaw may-ari. And that's why many organizations would hire an external communicator or consultant to help communicate the purpose. Because as an external, wala namang kaming kikitain dun sa pag-achieve ng vision. So, yung third-party perspective saying, this is really great, this vision is really great, maganda ito, might be a good step for you. Okay? I have another question. It's a very good question. What happens if you have a choleric leader? Okay? So, ang choleric leader is someone who is not as engaging. It's a personality type. Or hindi siya a personality, it's more of a disposition. Meron kang sanguine disposition, which is more open and fun-loving. Mas madali yon. So, yung choleric daw, mas medyo exacting, mas medyo madetalyado, ganun siya. But it doesn't mean that you're a choleric, that you're not having fun. It's just your way of communicating that may be different. If the sanguine guy would hug people, a choleric guy would probably be more, you know what, these facts are great. Now, when you lead an organization, makikilala ka naman nila. They would know, ganyan talaga yan si sir. So, kung alam nilang choleric ka, they won't expect you to be sanguine. They won't expect you to be bubbly. They expect you to be a fun choleric person. When you say fun choleric could mean just a small smile, just a little tap. It's different for everyone, but they will still feel that you're having fun. They will still feel that you're making the effort to be fun. Okay? Let's look for the... I'm trying to look for the questions. I'm trying to find it here. Okay. Do you have other questions? Okay, Apple Asares asks, how about people who are just good at fun but really are inconsistent when it comes to work? Are they worth keeping? Okay, well, you need to understand that people have different personalities, and so some people might be more fun-loving than others. It doesn't mean that you let go of fun people. Posibleng kailangan lang natin sila i-coach. Iupo mo sila, be very clear with their strategic objective or purpose, and then also the tactical goals. Lilinawin mo yon. So sit with them, and then explain to them the consequence. Kasi posibleng yung fun, yung parang pagiging flippant about it, na parang hindi siniseryoso yung mga bagay, posibleng hindi nila masyado naiintindihan yung negative consequences kung sila'y pumapalpak. So, iupo mo, kung pwede mong isulat sa board, sulat sa papel, papirmahin mo pa. Kung hindi mo magagawa ito, ganitong mangyayari, ha? Maapektuhan tayong lahat. They need to see the connection between their failure or their mediocrity dun sa kalakhang epekto dun sa ating team. Posibleng ganun, mararamdaman nila kung gaano kabigat yung role nila. So, happy people also need to learn how to understand the weight and the gravity of their commitment and their responsibilities at work. June Kindoy, what is the best thing to do if few or none of these exist in your workplace? I would suggest that you start it. June? posibleng magsisimula sa iyo. Posibleng ikaw ang papadala ng Panginoon to help your organization improve. Meron pa. Last. Hello, Trisha. Ha? Bakit? Okay, last 5 questions. Last 2 questions. Okay, Ate Ann Anderson asks the question, how do you avoid backbiting in the workplace? Okay, how do you avoid? Yung backbiting can be caused by a a culture, meaning talagang kailangan mo siyang i-break as a culture. Meron talagang mga tao na yung values nila hindi ganun kaganda. Yung culture can be shaped by the shared values. So kung marami talagang nagba-backbite, kailangan mo put a stop to it, speak against it, correct it, um, call people, but do it in private para hindi sila mapahiya. But it could also be a symptom of a power struggle or conflict within the organization. So kung meron kang mga turf issues, silos, kanya-kanya sila, baka kailangan mong i-break yung mga silos na yon and build better synergies and openness dun sa organization na yon. So if it's a culture, meaning it's a values problem, break it, speak against those negative values. If it's a organization or a team issue, then make sure that people understand the value of working together as teams and provide a means for them to resolve issues. Yung motivational approaches natin bukas, Ate Ann, I promise to talk about that. How do you now approach to be more motivational? That can be answered tomorrow. Meron pang questions? Last 2 questions. Last 2 questions. Okay, wala nang questions. Okay. How do you deal with bullies? Now, yung bullies, para sa akin, ang pwedeng mangyari dun sa bully, dalawa. One is you really stand up to the bully and talk to the bully. But best to talk to the bully in private at say it in a good way, say it in a positive way, but in an assertive manner. If you watch the impact speaking lecture maybe 2 weeks from now, matututo po kayo kung how to be assertive but not offensive, how to assert your thoughts in a manner that people would listen and really accept. Yun yung isang bagay. Pangalawa, ang pwedeng gawin sa bully ay you talk to the authority and allow the authority to resolve the problem. Kasi kung yung authority alam niya na nakakaapekto na itong bully na ito dun sa sense of community ng isang opisina, nakakaapekto na siya doon sa fun ng opisina, makakaapekto yon sa accomplishment ng opisina. So a good manager would know how to step in and talk to that bully in order for that bully to stop destroying the community spirit within the team. Okay. May question si Kuya Bricks. How will you change the mindset of employees whose motivation more of financial side? Okay. Kuya Bricks, yung question na yan, how do you motivate, will be answered tomorrow because tomorrow we will be talking about motivational approaches or approaches of a motivational leader. So bukas natin pag-uusapan yung approaches. Nasa watch party, madaming questions. Sorry, nagkagulo-gulo ko sana to. Mark, please elaborate stability in leadership. Does it also mean consistency? Consistency, fairness. Yes, I mentioned it earlier, when you talk about stability in your leadership, it means, yes, the consistency implementation of policies, consistency in your business strategies, napakahalaga nun. Consistency would also mean you cannot be consistent if you're not fair and objective. That is correct. So it's important for a leader to be a leader for everyone and not just a leader for a few. Yes, that's a very good question. How will you create a stable relationship if you are a new boss in the company and others are aspiring for your position? Okay. That's a good question. Relationships would be in the context of there are inherent competitions in an organization because it gets narrower at the top. Hindi naman lahat talaga magiging manager. Hindi lahat magiging presidente ng kumpanya. So it will get narrow at the top. And so as people go up the ranks of the organization, meron yang competition. But again, competing against a person doesn't mean I'm fighting with him. When I'm asserting that I am the better appointee to that role, doesn't mean that I'm pulling him down. So, iba po yung assertiveness sa pagiging palaaway. Hindi po yun. Ang problema kasi, Pastor William, sa Filipino, when you make them translate the word assertive, let's say, I will assert my rights, ang translation ng Filipino nun, ipaglalaban ko. Ang translation, ipaglalaban. Ang translation ng assert, so, hindi masyado positive yung translation ng assert sa Pilipino. Kaya kailangan i-build natin yung kultura na while we disagree, while we compete with one another, we can still be friends with one another. This is not personal. This is not personal because we're all here to work. And if I'm the better leader, I have the right to at least make a pitch that I should be the one appointed. Okay? Last question. Last question. Is there a different approach, Kuya Mark, is there a different approach? From Tweetums, is there a different approach, Kuya Mark, in a healthcare environment where all of us are doctors, or do all this apply in a medical organization as well? Yes. For Tweetums, I work with the Philippine Medical Association, and in fact, we facilitated the discussion on the healthcare bill, on the review of the Philippine Medical Act, and we work with many medical associations. It is interesting when you're working with doctors because unlike lawyers, for example, ang mga abogado sanay na kinokontra. Andad ng abogado nga, kung na ako'y sulti, na ginay mo supak. Ang doktor, dili na sila anad nga naay mo supak. Ang decision sa doktor, iyang decision, ang iyang gusto mo, iyang gusto. So muna siya default thinking sa doktor because it's a judgment call. And you want the doctors to be confident in their judgment calls, okay? When they're practicing their profession, they should make their best medical diagnosis and the best treatment for that. That's a good doctor, and I want to support that. But doctors who work now in an organization need to realize na og naana ta sa isa ka organization, lahi na dili na ta doktor. Meaning dili na ko doktor nimo, di ka doktor nako. So doctors also need to learn organizational skills or these skills or these things. That's why we're hoping to share this with Doctors Association, and given the opportunity to share this with doctors, we would be very glad to share this with them. So kailangan po na especially doctors. Okay? Okay. Thanks very much, everyone. I hope you learned something. It was we extended a bit there. It was about an hour and a half. So I will be back tomorrow. If you like this session, I would appreciate if you would write a nice comment in our public page, both in the Mark Astrodes and in the Arete public pages. And we will see each other again tomorrow. Yesterday we talked about the mindsets. Today we talked about the environment necessary in order to build a motivated team, or in order to inspire motivated individuals. Tomorrow we'll talk about motivational approaches, and then on Thursday we talk about motivational skills. Okay? Keep safe, everyone. Stay at home, read a book, exercise, eat healthy. God bless you. Maraming salamat.